Good day. What have we got? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Alright, let's get a couple of hours into this new ladder reset, shall we? Starting off with assault, playing it safe, keeping it OG. I was about to change the players count then. I can't. Just remembered that I can't.
This place is trouble.
This place is trouble. I might go a light sword to begin. Actually, I might stick with fire, to be honest. Fucking hell. How many monsters are there?
Not enough mana.
EV everywhere. Alright, what am I gonna go? What am I gonna go? What am I gonna go? Let's go into mana. Should have went into strength, but fuck it. Fuck it! Ooh. $250. And you always forget how painful it is to start off. Fuck off. It's level 1.
This cave has been purged of evil.
Yes?
Nice.
This ancient tree has an aura of magic about it. I can't carry anymore. Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury. Deckard Cain, get to the rogue camp. Not enough mana.
Actually, not a bad. I'll keep that for a paladin. Light resists. Not too shabby. Got 5,000. Got to make a leaf in that. Let's make a leaf in that one. Nothing in my personal share.
Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury. Good day. Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury. Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury. Good day. Oops. Bye. This is for you. Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury. Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury.
There's seven boys. Hey Josh, how you going, man? Just starting a new ladder. So pretty much all the characters get reset every 3 months, and it's like a race to the top sort of thing. So right now I'm just playing some online multiplayer with a bunch of other players. TP up for those who want Stony. Just wanted to let you all know my brother is gay and this is his month. Please congratulate him. What the fuck? Hold on, bro, let me move this up the top for you. There you go, now you can see what people are saying. Congrats. I'm alright, just chilling at work. What do you do for work? I know you've told me before when you've come down, but what do you do for work, bro? Oh, I turned my mouse sensitivity down. No, it's better.
Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury.
Excuse the tongue. If you see my tongue come out of my mouth, it's because I'm focusing. I can't help it, bro. I need mana. Oh, I'll give you that mana, motherfuckers. Did it? Oh, no, oh, that's right. Did a change of jobs. You definitely got the size for it, bro. Like a damn tree. Do I start fire then switch to light for hell? Slash. Eight boys. You liking the new job though, bro? Oh, man, someone's already made the damn game. Fucking hate when someone does this. I normally haven't done the Cane quest, so we can't actually do any Trist runs. We all do the tongue. Bro, even my oldest daughter should be playing on the PS5 and Should be that. Full sticking a tongue out trying to play, and I'm like, stick your tongue to the left, and it fucking helps you focus. Yeah, man. End of like an intense gaming session. I gotta like wipe my chin. I swear it helps, eh? What's like the average pay for security? Because wouldn't there be like risk pay involved and stuff? You know, because you get like dickheads and shit happening.
Was no match for Diablo's fury.
Give me that sweet fireball damage. Comes down to the job, yeah. What's the type of security work do you do? Because my old lady used to date a guy who he used to be a prison guard, then he was a child psychologist, and then he became a security guard and basically just looked after like estates and stuff like after hours. Super nice guy. Probably the only boyfriend my mum ever had that I actually liked, you know. The other 30, 40 boyfriends were all just wankers. But Jeff was awesome. Patrol officer. I'm on 16.90 a fortnight. And it's not enough for security work, bro. Because there could be like an instance where you come across some like dickheads. Someone already in Tristram? No. We all just ran in a big circle for no reason. Like Jeff one night, he came home from work, bro, and he got his, he had a scuffle, like as a security guard, and had his teeth knocked out, man. Beg your pardon? But I do have a cash in transit which can increase it to like 3k a fortnight. Yeah. Yeah, it would be very different sort of everywhere you go, I guess. Yeah, man, I went from about 4-5k a week to from plastering to well, when I first started with Azrael's, bro, I was clearing about 810 a week after taxes. So it was a big jump, and back then we were on a single income, so it was pretty brutal, bro, just because I've always just been salary with Brent. There's never been any like profit share or anything like that, so it makes it real hard. Let me just turn this down in case you can't hear me very well. Let me turn that down. That should be better for you. So yeah, it was rough, man. I got rid of, like, I had Foxtel, you know, like good internet packages, fucking all that sort of shit, and I pretty much had to ditch it all because I just couldn't afford it. You know, rent took more than half my wage back then, and you know, family of 4, supporting 2 kids and a missus at the time was brutal. I'm pretty lucky since I'm pretty much looking after an abandoned government building, so I don't get many visitors. Yeah, that's what Jeff used to try and do, like look after, like, not estates, but like, same sort of thing, like construction sites after hours and things like that. Whereas now I'm on decentish coin for being a tech. You know, industry, like, I know the next person who was on the highest aside from me was Josh from Watt on 70 a year, and I went from 90k a year down to I think it's 75 or 80 a year with Cyber Trigger. So a little bit of a pay decrease to go to Cyber Trigger, but way more potential. So like, depending if we hit company KPIs and stuff. Old TAFE building that closed. Yeah, so I guess most of the time for you would just be sort of chilling, watching losers play Diablo. Bro, some people trip out, when they see that, you know, I like Diablo and stuff. Bro, I like lots of different games, to be honest. Mainly virtual reality. The Diablo, for me, I think if I got into this now, I probably wouldn't like it. But I've been playing this since like the year it came out, like 2005 or something. I think I was even younger. It might have been even earlier than that. Because I was born 1990, and I think I've been playing this since I was like 12 or 13. It was the year it came out. I started playing this. And we were living in a shed at the time because we didn't have a house. So we were living in my uncle's shed. And my mum had a computer because she used to get boyfriends online and stuff and travel and go and see them and stuff, and I used to play computer, and Diablo really sort of took my mind off shit back then, and now it's just sort of stuck in me. What game are you interested in, bro? Oh shit, someone's already on it. Fuck me! Yeah, I played Diablo 1 before Diablo 2. I still remember my first ever character was a necromancer when Diablo 2 came out. Because I like the idea of, like, you know, resurrecting skeletons and shit. It's FPC Firebreaker. It looks cool. Is it like on PC, or Is it virtual reality or flat screen? Because, bro, I just downloaded Alien... I think it's Alien Insurgents or something on VR, on PSVR 2. Fuck me, man, that game is intense. Fighting fucking aliens in virtual reality is like butthole puckering worthy. We've got a full game. PC. On Steam. It's like Back 4 Blood. Back 4 Blood, isn't that it's like a zombie style game where you gotta like fucking work your way through the waves and shit? Or am I thinking of something else? I could be thinking of something else. Oh, come on, man. I just want one more rank. And then I'm fucking outie. This is why I don't like playing multiplayer. Everyone just fucking grabs the shit off the ground. I think it was Back 4 Blood. I couldn't remember the name. I think I had it on Xbox fucking years ago. I think I got it when I got an Xbox 360, I think. And it was like, you know, you make it through that section, then you get to like a safe house, and then you choose like your next weapon moving forward sort of thing. That was an epic game. I loved that game. There's a VR game that I play that's exactly like that. Fuck, what's it called? It's on the Vives on the PC. It's not on PSVR 2. Left 4 Dead. Yeah, that's the one I had on Xbox. Left 4 Dead. Bro, that's a sick game. I loved that game so much. But there's a game I play on PC VR that's exactly like that. It was fucking epic. Really, really cool. I love virtual reality, man, because I'm not very good like with my like joysticks on a controller. And I'm not that great on mouse and keyboard either. I used to when I was younger, bro. I used to fucking dominate like in Halo and COD and shit like that. And then, you know, I started a plastering company and had kids and stuff. And then it just sort of... Fuck, I need a respec. And then I just sort of lost all that sort of... like reaction speed sort of thing with the joysticks. Trump was right, China invaded. GG guys. And then I sort of lost all that, you know, that reaction speed and stuff, and then when I got virtual reality it all came back because, you know, virtual reality goes on how coordinated you are in real life and your reaction speed in real life, so it sort of gave me the edge back. So I went from being like shit on a fucking controller to basically dominating again. So because, you know, I've got good reflexes and coordination and stuff, so when I went back to virtual reality it was just, yeah, I was sitting like the top 3 sort of all the time in shooter games. My brother plays with me a lot and he's like, mate, you always sit in the top 3. Yeah, man. Well, the only reason I'm playing multiplayer Diablo right now is because the ladder, the season reset today. So pretty much all the characters get wiped and all your inventory gets wiped and you have to start all over again. And that happens every 3 months. But the character that you made before that gets transferred to non-ladder. So you still keep that character, but ladder gives everybody an opportunity to sort of climb to the top of the ranks. So fucking hell, ladder reset this morning, bro, and there's people currently at level 84. At the moment I'm ranked 32,000 in the world at rank 16. And yeah, rank number 1 is a druid, Funk Dodo. That guy. So I won't climb anywhere near the top, but if I can break the top sort of 1,000 would be pretty nice, but doubt it. I doubt it, man. I enjoy single player too much. People don't steal your shit. It's harder. Act 1. Let's call this game Act 1. Go. And shooter games for me in VR, bro, is like it's like playing gel ball. You know, the way you have to reload the weapons, you have to hit the mag release, pull the mag out, grab a new mag off your hip. I love all that aspect about it. He hasn't been in the sun in years, I bet. He hasn't been in the sun in years, I bet. Who's that? I haven't been in the sun in years. I've got that fucking fair pommy skin where I just die of melanoma the moment I look at the sun, bro. Brutal. Brutal. I get sunburn just thinking about sunburn, bro. So 7.5, 2.5, that's better. Use those ones. Oh, the ranked 1 player, yeah. Well, it reset this morning, and I was going to do a live this morning, but then we went to Costco and had to do all the, you know, the adult parent stuff. And then by the time we cleaned out the cupboard from the previous shop and set it all back up and yada yada yada, I was only able to jump on like an hour ago, so... Ooh, amulet. The hole. Oh man, I think of weird shit when I hear that. Gonna watch the Warriors play at 3 o'clock. Oh no, I jumped on at 1 o'clock. It'll be nearly 2 hours that I've been playing. My missus is a die-hard Broncos fan, but she's from Whangaparoa, so the North Island in New Zealand there. Oh, immune to fire, fuck me. So she also supports the Warriors, but it's Broncos over Warriors for her. How did you go with finding my pot? Oh bro, I found that, I should have contacted you. I found that a while ago because the room that I'm currently sitting in right now, my PC used to be in the living room. Fuck off. Hold on one sec. My used to be in the living room there, and I don't know how, but I ended up with a Python buttstock here, and I was like, fuck, I better put that in the car. So it's been sitting in my car for quite some time, and I literally completely forgot until you just said now. I've actually got another blaster here, and I'm not sure whose it is. In my garage. It's like it's a Gen 9 that's been like fully modified with an MK gearbox. And I, for the life of me, bro, don't remember whose gun that is. So I'm like waiting for someone to say, hey man, have you got that Gen 9? I was speaking to another tech the other day. Works for Azrael's at the moment. He was saying about how stressful it is and all this sort of stuff, and I said, man, welcome to teching, bro. Like, it's just the nature of it. He goes, well, yeah, he goes, pretty much everything he's put out comes back like fucking once a week. It just breaks straight away. And I said, yeah, man, well, you weren't hired as a technician, were you? You hired as a picker and packer, but you've sort of been thrown in the deep end. And speaking of Harrison's blasters all fixed. So he had the trigger spring come off the trigger, but what had actually happened is the MOSFET on the E-shooter MOSFET works like pretty much any other MOSFET. You've got your trigger switch, and what had happened was he's pulled the trigger quite hard at some point, which I understand, man. It happens. It's gel ball adrenaline goes, and it's very easy to do. I've done it myself a couple times on Leviathans where I've like crushed the button, but the little micro switch had been pushed to the point where it's just very lightly soldered on, and it had come right off, and so there was no micro switch there. So what I did was I had actually opened it, changed to the Prometheus trigger that he had provided with it, put it back in. Went to test it in the app, the trigger, and nothing was lighting up, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I've opened it back up, and there was no trigger switch there. It was completely gone. So I've actually got to text him and just say, hey man, just be very careful when pulling the trigger, unless you go like a trigger where the over travel can be adjusted, so you can actually screw it off before it goes too hard on the trigger, because it's the same trigger switch as like a HPA. So if you pull it too hard, you can actually, damage the little switch. I thought so. He wanted me to fix it, and I was like, no, I'm not even going to touch that. Yeah. Yeah, it was, so what I've done is I've actually replaced it with a whole new MOSFET for him, free of charge, just out of, good faith for him. And basically that's on the hush hush. But what I'll do is basically give that old MOSFET to Ryan and just say, hey, we've got a faulty one. Can we have it exchanged with E-shooter? So yeah, he's rocking a brand new MOSFET in there now, but it reminds me I do have to message him and just say, hey man, just in future be very careful pulling the trigger. Don't pull it too hard, because the micro switch can break. I should actually record a video, because there's quite a few people running them now, and I would say he's not going to be the only one that will run into that problem, because I know the feeling, man. You're in the middle of a game, adrenaline's surging, it's very hard. You don't think you're pulling the trigger very hard, but it is quite hard, and those micro switches are so sensitive, man. If we had the triggers where you could adjust the over travel and under travel, that would be ideal, but we don't stock triggers at the moment. We are, however, making triggers. We're making a lot of things at the moment. And the resin printer we've got is not going to be for anything for production. It's all just so we can test fit, make sure everything's good, and then send it off to ENC to be developed. What's the difference between them all apart from the app? So things like, when you're talking about like a Leviathan, you've got the Leviathan, the original, then you've got the Leviathan V2 optical. The Leviathan V2 optical, obviously it has optical detection on the gear cam, and then you've got the original, which uses a little micro switch to detect the gear cycle, along with both of them have a trigger switch, except one's like a little sort of angled switch that pushes up, the other one's like a button that gets pushed in. Very easy to crush the button version. If you pull too hard, you can actually crush the button on the Leviathan, and then the trigger doesn't detect at all. And then you've got like things like the Asda. The Asda has to run a very specific trigger where it's they call it a quantum trigger, and at Asriel's we developed a trigger which both don't really help in direct sunlight. You still get light bouncing around in there because the Asda runs one board instead of two boards, so it has light detection issues with basically picking up on the trigger, but it is also optical on the gear cam, but instead of picking up the gear cam itself, it picks up the gear's teeth on the Asdas. Same with the Titans. The Titans pick up the gear teeth, but they also have an optical trigger sensor. So optical trigger sensors are obviously more reliable, but if it's not a Titan, if it doesn't run two boards, then it's way more sensitive to light than like a one board is. Like a, you know, the Bluetooth Kestrel shooters at the moment, they run a little micro switch on the basic and on the Bluetooth version. So they can be crushed in. It's identical to the HPA one. Then you got like the Perrin, which requires its own mechanism that attaches to the upper of the V2 trigger that detects its trigger pull through that way. And then you've got, you know, things like the Big R and stuff, which you're sort of going down in levels of MOSFETs. They run like a magnet to detect gear cam, and the trigger is a little micro switch as well. So they're all sort of different in their own right. I prefer non-optical trigger, but with an optical gear cam. Optical trigger just means people can't crush the buttons. However, it's got to be a two board, like a Titan or the Kestrel V2 Bluetooth version. But the thing is, with a Titan, they obviously have mag detect overcurrent issues, where basically they have an overcurrent protection that detects the mag motor as a overvoltage, like a short circuit sort of thing. So it basically picks up on a short circuit within the magazine itself. So that causes the Titan to have problems with. It'll shoot fine when you're actually shooting it without a magazine in, but then it just stutters and like has all sorts of problems as soon as you put certain types of mags in, and it depends on the draw that it is. Some mags go alright for a while, especially brand new, but the moment they have any sort of resistance, they can stutter with the magazine in. Not constantly, just every now and again they go and then they'll let you keep shooting. So yeah, all MOSFETs have their pros and cons. I definitely prefer an optical cam sensor for the gear cycle detection, just because little micro switches get smashed every time it cycles otherwise, and they are more prone to fail. What's the difference between the SE and the V2? So the SE is the gel ball version, and the V2 version is the airsoft version. So, and the airsoft version, basically anyone who has the airsoft version, I myself have had to solder in the mag terminal power to the actual MOSFET board itself, whereas the SE has the little wiring harness for your mag terminals from factory. But then you've also got an optical, on the V2 you've also got an optical trigger sensor, whereas on the SE there is no optical trigger sensor, it's only optical on the gear cycle. So yeah, slightly different from each other, but essentially the same thing in the app, just without adjustable trigger sensitivity. Oh, and you've also got mag prime for gel ball in the SE version, so you can adjust when you put it in the automatic mag prime that it has. So in Harrison's case, it would have been better for him to have an optical, so that the trigger switch can't be crushed. However, eShooter doesn't ship those anymore to Australia. because I was looking at buying some. I wasn't sure which was the best one to get. Which one would you recommend? Honestly, the SE, because like I said, I prefer a gear cam to be optical, and the trigger switch to be non-optical, so you can't have any trigger detection issues. A lot of the times with optical triggers, you run into all sorts of problems in high light areas, so like outdoor gameplays and stuff. Even with the double board, you still can have slight issues, not compared to like the single board. So definitely the SE, but just don't pull the trigger too hard, or have a trigger that has under travel and over travel that's adjustable, so that you can adjust it so that no matter how hard you pull the trigger, it'll foul on the grub screw and not the actual micro switch for the trigger itself. So yeah, it really depends. They're both, other than that, the exact same MOSFET as each other, same firmware, same hardware. Other than those differences I just listed just then. So, and the Bluetooth, sorry, they're both Bluetooth, but the Airsoft version doesn't come with powered mags, which is a big problem. So I've personally had to solder direct to the MOSFET myself for everyone who's ordered one, to provide power to the magazine. So it's just positive to the battery, positive, and then negative to the motor, negative to provide power to a magazine. If you solder to the positive of the motor, you'll close the circuit permanently. So as soon as you plug the battery in, your mag motor will start spinning straight away, whereas obviously you want the mag motor to spin when you pull the trigger, so you have to solder to the battery positive and negative of the motor. Has anyone taken in their SIG about air pressure dropping? No. Like a compression issue? Like air pressure is in like the FPS is dropping? Ooh, faster cast rate, Amy. Nice. But no, not yet. Yeah, my new SIG has dropped. How much FPS has it dropped? Because we can look at basically if it's the ultraline version, are you running precock? And is the piston in its rested position before it gets stored for the week before the next weekend? Oh, barely getting 10 meters out of it. Okay, wow, that's a big drop. Have you checked T-piece? Because basically from factory they come with little sleeves that go within the T-piece itself. So my first questions would be, has the barrel been changed? Is the return spring still intact? Mind you, if the return spring goes, you'll struggle to get a meter, not 10 meters. 13, 10, 21, 33. Let's get that one. That's the standard one. So I'd be checking the inside of the cylinder for a scratch, checking for any damaged O-rings, checking to make sure that the O-ring within the nozzle itself hasn't come out of the nozzle on the inside of the nozzle. I'd be checking to make sure that there's no obstruction. Like you could have like a dry gel that's gone, I have seen this before, where a dry gel has gone back into the gearbox in front of the tappet plate. So when the tappet plate comes forward, it's not actually letting the nozzle move far enough forward to seal in the bucking of the T-piece. Making sure that your barrel is inserted in the T-piece properly. Making sure your spring isn't been decompressed, like the piston been in the precock position. Not precock, but when you've cycled it, sometimes it can end all the way back, and when it gets stored, the spring loses compression. I would make sure that there's nothing in your cylinder, and check that your piston head doesn't have the O-ring shot, or the cylinder head O-ring shot, or the nozzle O-rings are shot. And then from there, basically just making sure it's all lubed up, because there's only very limited things that can be with like a loss of FPS, and usually it might be the O-ring or a scratch in the cylinder. So but I did have a blaster that came in for well, it was about 5 blasters. Mr. Aztec, who's now Mr. Trigger, brought 5 of his guns in and had a brand new one built at the same time. And he said all of them are fine except for one of them shooting really low feet per second at the moment. And that was his DSG, and it was doing about 120 feet per second. And when I opened it up, there was a dry gel in front of the tappet, stopping the tappet from actually letting the nozzle seal in the T-piece. So yeah, compression issues are usually a very, very easy fix. It's timing issues that are a bit of a problem. Very rare cases, you could have gels that are too big for the barrel, but they do run a 7.5mm barrel, so I highly doubt that's the problem. That's more so when people switch to like an Aztec barrel, which is meant to be 7.25, but some of them are like, we measured one, we sent out a barrel bro to someone who ordered an Aztec barrel, and they called us back like a week later. This is when Iggy was working at the shop doing all the picking and packing, and I received a phone call and he said, hey man, just letting you know that this barrel's 6mm that I've just been sent. I'm like, nah man, like they're 7.25, and he showed me a picture and he had calipers, and it was 6mm. So you know, we paid for the shipping label, he sent it back, and I measured one and rolled it across glass to make sure it's straight as well, and sent him out one that was 7.25. But things like that do happen, especially on like harder gels, and gels that tend to grow bigger on like really tight bore barrels as well, especially the longer the barrel it is and the smaller the spring it is. It just shocked me because I've barely used it since I've owned it. Yeah, there might be something either blocking the tappet. To be honest, we have more issues with factory guns than we do with built blasters. In fact, the beauty of Ryan with ENC is we're getting them to change shimming at the moment, because we have had 2 blasters where shimming has gone from factory just on the cast. This is on ultraline gearboxes. It doesn't matter if it's ultraline or basic, the gears are the same, the shimming's the same. So we're just trying to get them to shim them a little bit better from factory. But any of this sort of information will go back to ENC and basically you know, making changes. So another big change we're making is there's going to be hop-ups pre-installed. So like the OP-TAC barrels are going to come standard from factory now. And I'm trying to get them to push to bushings instead of bearings. And LDX expert. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's still something that shouldn't happen though. But compression issues we haven't seen yet. What I did have the other day though that came in from an ultraline was the customer had no power to his magazine, so the springs were fine, they were still soldered on nicely. Soldering from factories, fucking complete poo, bro. And what it ended up being was the little JST connection that goes into the actual ultraline basic, sorry, the E-shooter basic MOSFET it was just faulty. Like it just wouldn't it was connected, everything was in there nicely. It wasn't like a loose wire or a desoldered wire or anything. It wasn't a magazine problem. So I ended up just making a new wiring harness for him. I said, if you want to go get a coffee and come back in 20 minutes. And I just made a new wiring harness, changed that over. That was on a Sig Rattler. And yeah, we shot it and it was fine again. But I couldn't actually see what the problem was. Obviously something wrong within that little connection itself or something, but we also have had a couple of the basic gearboxes pistons blow because they've got plastic pistons and only one tooth is metal. So little things we're trying to change, and it's good because it's direct communication with the factory, which is good. Being that Ryan's dad is the one who owns ENC, so they don't see a lot of the problems that we get, simply because airsofters don't use their guns as much. But I'm also testing carbon steel gears at the moment from ENC, so we're trying to ditch the cast gears because of those couple of gearboxes that had stripped gears. So we're trying to ditch the cast gears and go with carbon steel for all future blasters. Yeah, there's a lot, man, sort of in the pipeline. I just don't know what build I want to do with it yet. Is it the LDT spear, like the longer handguard, or is it the LDT spear? Sorry, which SIG model is it? Bro, have you seen this thing? Whoa. Bro, check this out. I want to paint this. This thing is massive. A resin printed. Oh, where is it? I don't know if you can see the detail. You see, it's getting a little bit dark in here. Okay, let's see. Bro, I fucking love this thing, bro. It's the SIG you did the handguard for. Depends on sort of what gameplay and stuff you're gonna play with it, I suppose. But I always like, brushless, short stroked, say 16 to 1s or like 13 to 1s, getting really nice trigger response out of it. Because binary and semi are really all people need. Everyone associates me with like high rate of fire because I build a lot of that sort of stuff, but I always try and talk people into like 16s or 18s and like short stroked or the brushless, and it's just better for everyone. High rate of fire is okay, but I'm trying to get people to shoot less, because if they can shoot less, there's less heat, there's less wear and tear, there's less servicing, and it's in everybody's best interest. So not that there's anything wrong with the DSG, but when people get DSGs, I'm like, look man, try and stick to semi-binary. It's what they were sort of created for. They weren't created for this, sort of just full auto all the time. People like Kingsley, bro, he shoots so much, man. It's more of keeping it at the 300 feet per second. Yeah, I like 300 feet per second. 300's sort of where the ideal spot is. Honestly, there's not much difference between a 300 and 320 or 330 FPS gun in terms of range. If it added 10 meters to it, it would be better, but it doesn't. It just simply doesn't. What is my missus listening to out there? Up. It's just more of the field I play out. Yeah, like, bro, I tell people all the time that, you know, 290 to 310 mark is perfect. I know it can be pushed higher and keep decent accuracy and stuff like that, but bro, that's what D2 used to look like, man. Now it's that. That's the nostalgic version for me. Just looks so much better now. Oh, empty. Well, I think the boys are about to kick off, bro. The Warriors, I'm not sure who they're playing. Who's the Warriors playing? Warriors NRL. 12-1 and 13-1 are my favourite for me. 16 and 18s are my favourite for customers. Because, yeah, some people are just super heavy-handed. Ooh. Bro, so you're talking like anywhere between sort of 40 and 44 rounds per second. I like where your head's at. It's Warriors versus Panthers. I reckon the Warriors are too consistent at the moment for the Panthers. Panthers are dropped to 11th. I thought that was 7th on the adjustable. Oh, the V5 Solink. Nice. Very nice. My new favourite motor, bro. 100%. Not just for the adjustability, but bro, in all honesty, I've done probably 50 builds with probably just over now with any of the Solink motors. They are all not a single issue whatsoever. Yeah, I'm so fucking glad for the Solink motors, man. So glad I'm out of Basreels and being forced to use Warheads all the time because they had exclusivity. Those motors were doing my head in, man, between broken tabs and shafts and LTD G36. Yeah, the G36s. I've done quite a few of those bad boys. Even the old school G36s, bro, from like 6-7 years ago, the old grey ones with the blue fire selects. Bro, those were OP back in the day, those G36s. The OG ones. They were the fucking bee's knees. And the STD6, they were fucking really good too. I need it serviced with a new MOSFET. Yeah, man, that's easy. Fucking die. Boom! Yeah, I bought it for 300 with 2 mags. Nice. Fucking nice. That's a good deal, bro. They're a solid blaster, man. Nothing wrong with them. To be honest, a lot of the LDT stuff is very solid. My only gripe with them is that they're not TM spec for upgraded parts. So they are specifically a Gel Blaster gearbox, but they work fine for what they are, unless you go like an MP7 that run the proprietary MOSFETs, and those MOSFETs are just prone to breaking, and there's nothing you can do to change it except go to another LDT MOSFET. So they have their little quirks and stuff, but for what they are, they're great. SIG MCX, and I get saying not in anyone's lifetime. Bro, you've put way too much into that MCX, man. And just the parts that are on it that no one else has. There's literally, that's a one of one. Exit Diablo. StarCraft, one of my other favourites. Alright, man, well, I better shoot. Go watch this game with the missus. I've got to get making smash burgers tonight for dinner. I've got to make some bacon jam to go on it, which is going to be fucking epic. New stick stuff Ryan is dropping. Yeah, man, there's a lot coming. There's a lot coming. So not just SIG stuff, but a little birdie told me MP5s are coming soon too. Yeah, man, I want an MP5, an ENC MP5 would be fucking absolutely epic. Absolutely epic. But alright, man, I better get the cooking. Family's going to be nagging me soon. It's going to take me a little while to cook, so the bacon jam will be about 45 minutes, and then probably another 30-40 minutes after that the burgers will be done. So, well, thanks for dropping in, man, as always. I appreciate it, bro. Bro, I want a nice MP5, you know, and I've been nagging Ryan for it since we started, and he sort of kept it hush-hush. But yeah, it's coming, man. It's coming. So he sort of slipped up a little bit. Not that he's hiding anything, but yeah, there was a few things that were an issue that he didn't want to get me excited for. So, but that's what they're doing now. But all right, man. Stay safe out there, bro, at work. And yeah, I hope you have a good one, man. Have a great weekend. And yeah, I'll speak to you soon, man.